Ryan Kay here, the unconventional advisor and the co-founder of the Advisor Accelerator. And today I want to talk about, are you stronger or are you weaker as a result of COVID-19? And I don't necessarily mean that as a person. Let's focus here in the case of our businesses, right? As an advisor, has your practice, has your business improved as a result of being hit and affected by COVID-19? Or has it inflicted like either mortal wounds or serious wounds that you're still trying to figure out and recover from? So this is a big question because I've noticed it's pretty binary in terms of the reactions I get when I ask that question to different advisors. One group says it was completely destructive, right? We went from being able to do live events, workshops, people feeling quite comfortable signing up for my services and doing face-to-face appointments, to a complete shutdown, no more live events, no one wanting to be face-to-face anymore, and no one wanting to make any decisions until they knew what was going on in this very uncertain environment. And then I have another group of advisors that I've talked to that say, yeah, it's challenging and it has been challenging and it was super challenging in the beginning. But as a result of COVID-19 and as a result of the shutdown, I've actually learned to transform my entire practice over to virtual. I now have achieved consistency in my virtual webinars and events. I know how to generate 30 to 50 RSVPs for every webinar that I do. I know how to get at least 20 to 30 of them showing up for the event. I know the proper way to follow up after the event. And I know how to generate, 10 or 15 appointments out of that virtually during the day and meet with them like via Zoom or even via cell phone. And I know how to enroll new clients in this environment from the comfort and safety of my home, my office, or wherever I want to be, right? So what's the difference? And I would say there's a couple of things to highlight here for everyone's benefit. Number one, I think first and foremost, it starts with mindset, right? And that's a very fuzzy term, and I really don't love it because people misinterpret it. But I'm going to start with this. Do you operate from a fixed or a growth mindset, right? A fixed mindset is there's a limited pie, there's only so much to go around. I'm like, well, in my case, I'm 51 years old. I've learned as much as I'm going to learn. It's all going to go downhill from here. Who moved my cheese? I'm not prepared for a pandemic. This is a black swan event. No one could have known about this. And I'm just going to retract. I'm going to put my head in the sand or go like a turtle into my shell. And I'm just going to wait until we see what happens, until this thing blows over. Well, unfortunately, it still hasn't blown over, right? And as all of us know, this is an ongoing scenario that may or may not be around in a meaningful way for at least another year and a half if you base it on what large organizations are doing. And quite seriously, it has dramatically impacted certain industries where I don't think they're ever going to come back in the same way, like retail, gyms and health clubs, restaurants, the travel industry. I mean, my hopes and prayers for anyone in those businesses that things will go back to normal. But, really rough scenario if you find yourself in a business like that to immediately take that and turn it virtual. Some things don't lend themselves. Luckily, in the case of financial services, if you're in front of the right market and if you've discovered the right way to market virtually, your business should have been pretty much uninterrupted, right? Yes, you might have had to shift because you enjoy doing live events, you enjoy face-to-face, you feel that there's a more personal touch. But if you're doing something that someone cannot put off into the future, they cannot wait to decide because it's a present pain that they have to solve right now. They cannot defer it. It's an emergency. Even though there's COVID and no one's supposed to go to the emergency room other than COVID patients, if you've sliced your neck open, you're going to the emergency room, right? And you have to get it treated, right? It's not an elective surgery. You can't wait. So that's the big idea. The big idea is that if you want to shift from the fixed mindset to the growth mindset, and you're currently experiencing the pain of, hey, I've done this so many years, I'm 45, 55, 65, I don't, or maybe you're just starting out and I don't know how to do this in this world, right? I don't know how to generate meaningful workshop attendees in a virtual world. I've spent money with all these different workshop vendors. I've bought leads. I've tried virtual events. I've done all the different things that they're suggesting I do, and for some reason it's not working for me, right? And then when I do get on the event, very few people are there. The ones that are there are completely disinterested. They drop off halfway. I generate no meaningful appointments and no new sales, right? No new clients. So that's one scenario. The other scenario is I'm going to have a growth mindset. And I'm going to take a beginner's mind, right? In Zen, they talk about having beginner's mind, becoming like a child again. And I'm going to look at the cards that have been dealt to me, and I'm going to play those cards, right? And I'm going to play them to the best ability I have. I'm going to be a strategist. And I'm not going to bemoan my fate. I'm not going to curse the darkness. I'm going to light a candle, and I'm going to brighten up the darkness by reinventing myself, reinventing my positioning, putting myself in front of a starving crowd that desperately needs and wants my help right now, no matter what's going on. Because when you do that, and if you do that, you essentially have made yourself what I would refer to, or what Nicholas Taleb, Nassim Taleb, I'm probably mispronouncing his name, refers to as being anti-fragile, right? And that's what we want to do. We want to help our clients set up anti-fragile plans for their college, for their retirement plans, et cetera, et cetera. Well, a plan that no matter what's going on in the external environment, it continues to work. It continues to grow. It has like almost a protective shell that surrounds it and prevents it from corrupting and from like massively losing either money or momentum. So that's what we want to build. And so the big idea of today is, number one, what did you emerge? Did you emerge victorious or victimized? Either way, where do you go from here, right? The cards have been dealt. The situation is what it is. You might have tried a bunch of other things, but there are advisors out there that are growing and doing better than they've ever done. And how are they doing this? Number one, they're getting in front of a starving market. Number two, they're providing a solution to an immediate or urgent problem. And then number three, they have figured out digitally and virtually how to generate a steady, consistent, predictable flow of daytime appointments, which puts the numbers in their favor, right? The more people that you meet with that are qualified with a bleeding neck problem, the more likely it is that enough of them will say yes to your proposition, where you don't have to chase, you don't have to create false urgency, you don't have to beg friends and family for referrals or do any of the stuff that turns your stomach. So if any of what I said makes sense or resonates with you and you'd like more information on how can I do that right now and be in front of a starving market that resembles that scenario and allows me to build a practice in an up or down marketplace that thrives in any economy, during a pandemic, no matter what black swan event occurs. If that's you, go to www.starvingmarketspecialist.com and go ahead and register for our webinar. And we will explain exactly how we've been doing this for the last 23 years, up and down markets, crashes, pandemics. It doesn't matter because we put ourselves in front of a starving market that needs and wants help now and is capable of paying for it. So that's it for today. Again, it's Brian Kay, the Unconventional Advisor, co-founder of Advisor Accelerator. And until next time, again, if you like this, put a like. If you can share this and you have people to share with, please do. And if you've got a comment, particularly if it's a nice comment, please share it. And let me know if there's anything else you'd like me to cover in future editions of the Unconventional Advisor. Thank you.